Alright guys, so continuing my coverage of Drag Race UK Season 3, today we're going to be talking about Episode 2. This was a little bit of a strange one this week. After the amazing opening episode of the season, I couldn't help but feel a little bit disappointed by this one. Like, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't great. This week the queens were split into 3 different teams and had to perform in this Dragoton online workout thing. This week's challenge involved a lot of different elements. There was choreography, the queens had to learn how to dance using exercise equipment. There was sort of some acting involved because there was character work here, also a bit of comedy. They had to work in teams but also stand out as a group. And I think that was my issue with the challenge this week. It just bit off a lot more than it could chew. It never seemed sure of what it wanted to be. It was a bit muddled. There was just a lot going on. And if I'm being completely honest, the finished product of what we got wasn't all that great. A lot of the queens were out of sync with each other. It looked very sloppy, very messy. I just think this challenge gave them too much to do, and I don't think they had a whole lot of rehearsal time to do it, so the end product was just, I don't know, it was a bit underwhelming. And honestly, I didn't know who had won this challenge this week. Like, you could tell which queens were struggling, but I couldn't tell which queens were thriving in this. It was actually difficult to see who was standing out for good reasons. I wasn't a big fan of this challenge, sorry. It was a bit of a bumpy week for Christa Versace though, wasn't it? Because she just won the first week's challenge. She got her own personalised mini challenge, which ruffled some feathers. She caused a bit of controversy there. Then she struggled in rehearsals for the challenge, but then she went on to win it. That's 2 weeks in a row, back-to-back wins for Christa Versace. Fresh off her win from last week, Ru gave the 19-year-old her own personalised shit-stirrer mini challenge called Rupermarket Sweeps, where she had to label her competitors with some, titles that we got like last season. So yeah, for River Medway, she got the trashiest queen or the most basic, aka Tia Coffee Baroness Basic. She gave Vaday the trade of the season. Fair enough there. I might have gone with River Medway or Scarelett Harlett. I think they're both very cute. But who's your trade of the season? Let me know in that comment section down below. She gave Veronica Green the out of date label because apparently she looks old, but I love that Veronica Green just owned it. It was just like, I'm so last season. Love Veronica Green. In very accurate foreshadowing, Krystal gave Electra Fence the bog off title, which basically meant the next person to go home. And she was bang on the money. She actually said to Krystal, doing 10 tricks on the stage isn't gonna save you, and she basically foreshadowed the events of the entire episode. But the most awkward one, which did open up some conversation in the workroom later in the episode, was when she labeled Scone as her star by, or biggest competition, but Krystal decided to throw some shade at Scone by interpreting the word biggest as fattest, essentially a joke at Scone's expense about being one of the bigger contestants. This caused a bit of a stir in the workroom, but also on social media. People weren't happy with Christa Versace's comments, like fat-shaming Scone. I think what bothered people about Christa Versace's comments was the hypocrisy, which followed like 10 minutes later in the workroom when Christa was talking to RuPaul about her own body image insecurities, how she was worried about being too skinny. And it's like, okay, you're happy enough to make a joke about someone else's body issues and insecurities, someone who's on the heavier side, but yeah, you also struggle with your own issues about being too skinny. What makes your body issues more valid than Scone's? It's very much a case of like popcorn the kettle black. So I get why people aren't happy with Christa Versace in this episode, but again, I can't stress this enough. Please don't attack Christa Versace on social media because she made a mistake. Was it a thoughtless, childish, below-the-belt joke, which also pointed out her own hypocrisies? Yes. But is she also a human who's capable of making mistakes? Also, yes. But she did show remorse for her words later in the episode and also apologized to Victoria for it. Also, she was tasked by RuPaul with a mini challenge designed to be a bit shady, and I think in the heat of the moment, she got a bit caught up in it. She wanted to try and make Ru laugh and went for a cheap attack on someone's appearance, and it went too far. I'm in no way condoning fat shaming, but given the circumstances, it's understandable why a inexperienced, young, naive 19-year-old might say something stupid or inappropriate in the heat of the moment. We have all said dumb shit when we're young. The thing is, Christa Versace's dumb shit got aired on national TV. That's kind of its own punishment in itself. But she did go on to say she regretted her choice of words, and this actually allowed Krystal and Victoria Scone to have a frank and grown-up discussion about body issues, and Victoria handled it like a pro. She didn't use it as an opportunity to stir drama or stir the pot, but she used it as an opportunity to educate the young on the importance of choosing our words carefully. Because you never know what's going on in someone's head. You don't know what they've been through or what they've struggled with. Body size and weight are very sensitive issues, but God bless Victoria Scone for opening up about her own issues with her body and her weight, but also for taking the higher road and saying there was no bad blood between her and Christa Versace, all was forgiven. So yes, it was a bit of a verbal blunder for Christa Versace this week. I did lose a bit of respect for her. But what we need to do is what Victoria Scone did in this episode, and that is to rise above attacking people for their mistakes and instead showing them where they went wrong and educating them on how they can change their habits or vocabulary to avoid making the same mistakes in the future, because that's really how we grow and evolve as a society. Instead of attacking people for the mistakes, encourage them to learn from them, having a calm, civilized discussion about how words do matter. God, I love Victoria Scone. I really love how she handled that chat. She was just so wise and calm and understanding, so yeah. Love her, love her. And the silver lining is, even though it was a tactless joke said in the heat of the moment, it did actually provide a catalyst for a lot of important and difficult conversations in the workroom about body image and body insecurities. So some good did come out of this. Victoria herself opened up a conversation about the standards of dance schools as well as the entertainment industry as a whole, saying that you need to be a certain size in order to work in the industry, and that size is just thin. And it's so true. There is this mentality that you need to be skinny in order to be a dancer, which is ridiculous and backwards. Like, you can be any size and be a dancer, but in the industry you have to conform to a certain standard, and it's ridiculous. I hope her comments do actually start a more thought-provoking conversation about these standards we see in the dance and entertainment industry, because it does need to change. Elektra opened up about her freckles and how she used to hate them because she was bullied for them back when she was in school, but it's so nice to see that she's learned to love herself and her freckles. You gotta love your imperfections, and sometimes it is our partners that love those things about us that we sometimes hate. I used to date a guy who had stretch marks on his torso and back, and he hated them, but I thought they made him more beautiful. Vanity also opened up about her dark skin tone and how she herself was bullied for apparently being too black. But there was so much love and support from the other queens in the workroom about self-love and loving your skin tone, your body size, your imperfections. So yay to the body positivity and yay to self-love. There was so much vulnerability on display this week, but it's so nice to see the queens feeling comfortable and safe enough in this workroom environment to open up about those insecurities and struggles. They really are becoming sisters. There is so much love in that workroom. And the conversations that they are having on national TV about those insecurities will have a ripple effect on others, because so many others can relate to these struggles. Anyway, let's talk about the main challenge, however sloppy it might have been. So the top 3 queens this week were Christa Versace, Veronica Green, and Kitty Scott Claus. And the bottom 3 queens this week were Electra Fence, Vanity Milan, and who was the last one? Charity Kase. Did I agree with the tops and bottoms this week? I do and I don't. Elektra was red for being too fast, too keen, too eager. Basically, she was just full of adrenaline and was ahead of everybody in the routine. So yeah, she wasn't on time with everybody else and got red for that. And I can understand why she was in the bottom. But then Vanity, most of her critiques were sort of in her choice of outfit and wig. And yes, I didn't think the choice of outfit was appropriate for an exercise demo. And yes, the wig was a bit distracting, but I thought her performance was fine. I don't know if I'd have put her in the bottom 2, maybe bottom 3, but not bottom 2. And then Charity Kase, I actually thought was probably the worst this week. She looked the most lost on stage, like she was so out of time with everybody else, she was behind people. So yeah, I would have put Charity Kase in the bottom 2 this week, probably with Elektra, but I think the producers wanted the 2 self-proclaimed dance queens of the season to have a high energy lip sync for your life. I did kind of feel bad for Ella Vaday because this does kind of seem like a challenge that plays into her strengths because she is a performer, a dancer, and she was kind of lumped in with a average group. And while she did stand out in the group, she didn't really stand out overall, but she did do well. And I do feel bad that she didn't get, you know, in the top 3 placements this week. As for the runway looks this week, the category was red carpet showstoppers. I just want to take a little moment to acknowledge how all the queens stood together, looked like a rainbow. That was amazing that they all sort of wore different colors to make up the rainbow. That was awesome. Apparently it was unplanned. And I didn't even notice it the first time. I only spotted it after River Medway pointed it out on Twitter. That was just a happy accident. So yeah, that was a little cool moment. My favorite look of the week, definitely Christa Versace in green. I thought she looked stunning. The hair, the makeup, flawless. My least favorite, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, it was Electra Fence. That gown wasn't very flattering, was it? She kind of looked a bit like the fairy godmother, sorry, from Shrek 2, you know, Jennifer Saunders' character. Yeah, it wasn't very flattering. She did get swallowed up in that dress, and the fabric also looked a bit cheap. Do I agree with Christa Versace as the winner this week? To be honest, I don't really know. I thought Christa Versace did fine in the challenge, but did I think she stood out more than the others? Not really. I also noticed during the performance, with the bold choreography, she was a little behind everyone. But when you're not in the room, it's hard to tell what the judges are actually responding to, and apparently they really like Christa Versace's character because she was selling sex, and sex really does sell. So yeah, they really like that, and they also respected that even though she wasn't a dancer, she really did rise to the challenge and, you know, put in the effort to try and do her best. I think on a performance level, Veronica and Claus were better, but Christa Versace's look on the runway just took her over the edge slightly. Personally, I would have preferred to have seen Veronica Green or Claus win this week, but I'm fine with Christa Versace winning. I understand why she won, and even though her behavior was a bit questionable in the workroom, she did rise to the challenge, so good for her. But yeah, let's talk about that lip sync because that was immense. Like, Vanity said it herself, she was just gonna go fuck the stage up, and she did. 2 dancing queens with a very high energy, upbeat song. I love Moving On Up. I thought it was a great choice for them, and they brought it. This lip sync was giving me life. Vanity was fierce, like she was very poised, but very much in control. Whereas Elektra gave it everything that she had. Stunts. She pulled out every trick that she had in the book. Backflips, she was breakdancing, and she even leapt off the stage at the end of the song. Do I think the right queen won? It was a tough one, and I will say, out of the 2 queens, the personality that I've clicked with most is Elektra's. Like, I think she's great TV, she's just very charming and funny, but it does kind of feel like she has shown us pretty much everything that she has to offer. She is the high energy dancer, and after pulling out all those tricks in the first 2 weeks, like, where do you go from leaping off the stage? With Vanity, it does feel like she has been holding back a little bit. She hasn't fully blossomed in the competition yet, so I do think she does have more to offer than Elektra does, but personality-wise, I loved Elektra, and I'm so sad that she's gone. Plus, this is a lip sync for your life, not a breakdance or a gymnastics for your life. Don't get me wrong, if you've got those things in your arsenal, that's great, use them. They add a lot of flair, a lot of entertainment value, but when a lip sync becomes all about the tricks and chesticles, the lip sync kind of gets lost. And yeah, it's not necessarily about who can do backflips and death drops and splits. It's more than that. It's about who can embody the song more. And I think Vanity did a really good job of just owning the song. Like, she was really in the moment rather than just being high energy, crazy flips, splits, stunts, you know, like Elektra was. It was entertaining, but yeah, I think Vanity won it fair and square. What about you guys? Do you think Vanity won it, or do you think Electra Fence should have stayed? Let me know in the comment section down below. Final points of this episode. I'm falling deeper and deeper in love with Choriza May. She's just continuing to make me laugh at everything that she says. She is just absolutely priceless. I bloody love her. And final talking point, which is also kind of a question, do we think Victoria Scone is going to be in next week's episode? We got told at the end of this one that she needs to see the doctor to assess her knee injury and if it's safe enough for her to continue. I tried scouring the preview for next week's episode, but I couldn't see her anywhere. So either they're keeping us in suspense and she's fine, or maybe she has gone home. What do you guys think? Let me know in that comment section down below. Those are my thoughts on episode 2 of Drag Race UK Season 3. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to follow me on any of my socials, Twitter, Instagram, all those links in that video description down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Carefield. And I'll see you next time.